You're on, Joshy.
Three.
Well, Ken, Tom Jonas back in the side. Wasn't doing much out there at training, but 100% he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He got through yesterday. Most of our training was done yesterday. Obviously, as you could see out there today, there wasn't much on. It's pretty typical of when we play on a Saturday.
And it seemed like there was a lot of fun out there. The boys were having a good time. Is that the sort of mentality just to bring a bit of fun back into the group?
Oh, it's not. It's sort of deliberate. We want the environment to be one of energy, and if the energy comes across as fun, that's not a bad thing either. But it's that time of the week where the players are feeling pretty good. Obviously, they've recovered well, so they're up and about. It's a good time to see them like that.
We saw a drill where they just skied the ball in the air and they were forced to take it in their hands. Is that just sort of to simulate a bit of match simulation in terms of having the crowd noise, having that pressure amongst them?
Not so much. It's just having a bit of what you said before. It's having a bit of fun. They're competing against each other out there, and that's what you want them to do. Is just to enjoy what they're doing, but concentrate for a little moment.
Are you happy with what's done back in Magpies? What specifically do you need to do to get back in?
Oh, look, Jack wasn't never too far away. It's just some of his contest stuff that we wanted to see him get a little tighter on, and particularly then his ability to put some pressure on, which has been pretty good, and he's been able to kick goals for us. So it was just more, that contest stuff that he knew that we needed to sharpen up a little bit on, and he's done that really well in his games in the Maggies.
Does he have to really, I guess, cement himself now in the next?
Absolutely does. Yeah, no, that's Jack's opportunity is there now in front of him to own the spot. Toddy over the last couple of weeks hasn't been quite at the level that he would expect of himself. So, that's always the case in any selection, not just in Jack's case, but every player in the team. You've got to play well to stay in, and you've got to play well to get in.
Is that a tough choice for Toddy? Because obviously you backed him in during his time here at the club. Obviously last year with the choice between him and Jackson Trengo for that final against West Coast. Do you sort of contemplate maybe giving Toddy another week in the season? No,
not really. I mean, you get down to form, it purely becomes about form and opportunities. And for Todd, he probably hasn't made the most of those opportunities he's had. So he's a young player. He's got such an enormous upside. We all know that. I suspect Todd will be back in the side reasonably quickly.
And the choice with bringing Darcy back as well this week, obviously, was it a pretty easy? I know
it was.
He had a pretty quiet game in the sample, but still pretty easy.
It wasn't about that. Darcy's played 56 games in a row before he went out, and he's a pretty important player. If you talk about defender importance, he's right up the top with the blokes that we like to have in the side.
Can Todd and Jack play together in the same team?
Yeah, well, we'd like to think that it can happen, no doubt about that. But there's a combination of things that come in there. There's about scoreboard influences, about opportunities. There's the pressure part of the game that we have to rate highly to, and the defensive stuff as well. So you've got to play a role in all areas of the game, and if they can do that together, there's no reason at all why they couldn't play together.
And Jack, I think it's the 10th time he's been dropped in his career. Are you confident, or do you have assurance that maybe this time it's different? Do you know what I mean? Hasn't always got the response.
Well, I suppose history would suggest that I shouldn't be too confident then, if that's what you're telling me. But look, Jack's done everything he can. He hasn't been in really poor form. We've had a team that's been in pretty solid form, so that's good for us because it allows us to be sharper when it comes to selection.
How have the players been after Darcy's got that week off? How have the players been? You talked about building that culture. How's this week been?
I think it's been quite normal for the players. They have an expectation which is simple for them to work towards, and if they can do that, that gives them great clarity, I think.
With Jack, do you see him playing higher up the ground, or obviously trying to utilise his biggest weapon, which is obviously his ball use, and get those sort of conversions inside 50 a bit more efficient than what you have so far this season?
Yeah, his role won't be dissimilar to what it's been since the start of the year. It'll be, at times he'll need to be up the ground, at times he'll need to be deep in the forward line, but importantly he needs to take the opportunities that come, whether they be in offence, defence or contest.
And just on a couple of injuries, obviously Sam Gray has a bit of an ankle.
Yeah, Sam's carried an ankle for a couple of weeks now, and it hasn't quite got to the point where he's been able to train through the week, and I think there comes a point where you need to put a break in that and get him right. We're going to try and do that now, and hopefully he may only miss the 1 week. If it's more than that, it will have to be more than that.
Can you sense any complacency, particularly this week, that Saints are going to go and raging favourites, top ball spot?
No, we've been that the last couple of weeks, and no, we've talked about the word unconditional. We expect and respect that that's what we want to be, and that to be unconditional, you have to do that against whoever you play against. We're not silly enough to look at the comp. We played Melbourne 2 weeks ago, and we've seen St Kilda beat Melbourne, and we gave everything we possibly could and found a way to get over the line against Melbourne. We've seen St Kilda beat Melbourne last week, so this competition gives you no reason to be overconfident.
Big carrot at the end of this game. If you win, you finish the round in the top 4. How important to get there and then stay there, given how tight it is?
Oh, look, Tom, it's always important to get as high as you can, but right now it's probably not significant, is it? There's 7 or 8 games still to go. So for us, it's a matter of just making every opportunity to consolidate, and that's what we're trying to do. We're not worried about our position at the end of this round. We're certainly worried about it at the end of round 23, though.
And managing to win, and that's probably a good way of putting it, because you haven't been absolutely wrapped with the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, or again, just for the competition would suggest that you don't, it's what expectation sometimes from outside is way higher than it is on the inside. We just go to each contest expecting to play the game and try and give ourselves a chance to win in this competition that we play in now. So yeah, we've been happy to get wins, and I think that's really pleasing for us, is that we've been able to find ways to get those wins.
With St Kilda's forward line, obviously Jacob Gresham was fantastic last week for them. Does Darcy get sort of first job on him, or how do you...
Oh, it depends where he plays. If we watch him last week, he played up the ground a little bit at the start. They're mixing and matching a little bit with those players. So, we've always been that case. We won't lock in so much as defenders to who we've got. It'll be where our defenders are best positioned.
It seems you've got a bit of an advantage in the ruck, obviously when Paddy Ryder plays, he gets an advantage most weeks, but you try to take advantage of that against Billy Long?
Again, you weigh up. Sometimes it looks like it. Is it going to be actual fact? I'm not quite sure. We just got to compete as a midfield group collectively and get the job done. Not so much Paddy getting the job done. It's the group.
Yeah. And Justin Pittard's hamstring just a 1 weeker at this stage.
Yeah, it should be. It's a really difficult one when you talk about hamstrings. Everyone's a bit funny about him, but he's had an MRI scan done this week that's shown nothing on it. But he has some still stuff going on there. We're just not prepared to take the risk. We just don't need him to get a 4-week hamstring right now. So it's a bit precautionary by us, but we just need to be a bit safer.
Is that given his history? Obviously had a hamstring at the start of the year as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely about his history. We need to be very cautious with some players.
Is that the same one? Same one as pre-season?
Oh, I couldn't tell you it's the same leg. I can just tell you he's got some issues.
Was there anything that jumped out at you when you watched St Kilda beat Melbourne?
Yeah, their willingness to take the game on, wasn't it? It was really clear. You could see that, and you listen to them talk. They're talking about that. Their last 5 quarters. I think I heard Richo say the last 5 quarters have been pretty exciting, and in willingness to take the game on. Knowing Alan a little bit, you suggest that they'll continue on that path, and they're going to give us some real challenges.
You're obviously very tight with Alan when he was here. Do you still talk to him a bit?
No, I don't like him that much. Richo's not a great bloke. No, we get on pretty well.
Yeah.
They go in and probably try to take you on, like you said, like they have been. Do you then just roll the dice and go just as hard the other way? Or do you actually adjust a little bit and say,
yeah, no, we'll play our game style. That's really important. We've got to play our style, and we've practiced it for so long now that we're not going to go away from that. And our game style would be pretty clear that it's supported strongly by defence, and that's the way we'll continue to play. Defence, contest, and then we'll obviously try and use the ball well.
Kenny, if you cast your mind back to the last time you played them, it was a ruck tap from to Gray that won, from Ryder to Gray that won you guys the game. How important is that combination this week?
The Ryder Gray one? Yeah. Oh, that's pretty important to us each week, but it was a great game, that game. We played, I remember we got to a reasonable lead, and then all of a sudden they come back, us got 2 goals up, and I thought we've blown that, and then that one bit of play, but I felt that same pain later that year in an elimination final where it went wrong. So I said that to Richo in the game after last year, was that we'd been to Geelong early that year, lost a game in a similar situation. So it's a heartbreaking game sometimes, and luckily that time we come out on top, but I hope that it doesn't get that close, to be honest, and I have to sit there and go through that, and I'm sure Alan would be thinking the same.
Do you feel with 4 wins and a broken and now 5th on the ladder, chance to go 4th, like Tommy said earlier, do you still probably flying under the radar a bit when it comes to people talking about who's the chance of the premiership?
It's hard to know, because that's again an opinion by other people. It's not necessarily our opinion. We just, as I said, we're setting out to do everything we can to win as many games as we can, to qualify as high as we possibly can. First and foremost, to qualify to the play finals, and then secondly, how far up we can get is really important to any team when you get to that stage of the year, and that's what we're trying to do, and the rest of the competition needs to take care of itself.